Welcome back to the Rise with Anita Podcast, beautiful souls, or welcome if you're new here. So this is a space where ambition meets embodiment, where soul meets strategy, and where we don't just talk about change. We allow it to move through us. So today I want to talk to the woman who's feeling a little tired. And it's not because you're not capable or because you're not strong, but because you've been holding everything. You're the one people rely on, the one who gets it done, the one who shows up even when she's tired and running on E. And if I asked you, do you trust yourself? You probably would not say no. But if I asked you, do you prioritize yourself? That's where you'd go quiet. But before we dive deeper, I'm going to invite you to take a breath with me. So if you're able to do so, place your feet on the ground. Relax your shoulders. Close your eyes. And just slowly inhale through the nose for 4. Hold for 4. And release through the mouth for 6. And one more time. Inhale through the nose for 4. Hold for 4. And release through the mouth for 6. And just allow your body to arrive. Because most of the time, you're not actually present with yourself. You're managing everything around you. And here's the truth. You don't just feel drained because you've been doing too much or it's a busy season. You're starting to feel drained because you're doing too much without you including yourself in your list. Because somewhere along the way, you learned how to show up for everyone else, but not to stay connected to yourself while doing so. So it can look like how you meet everyone else's needs, but not your own. You push through the exhaustion instead of listening to your body when you feel tired. You give and give and give, and then you start to feel resentful towards those you love or empty inside. And you don't even know what you need anymore. And here's the thing, it's subtle. Because it doesn't feel like you're abandoning yourself. It just feels like, this is what I have to do. I have to get it done. But over time, this pattern creates disconnection. Disconnection from yourself, disconnection from your body. And that disconnection begins to hit your self-trust. And it's not loud, but it's quiet and consistent. So self-trust isn't about making these big decisions that we usually think it is. It's about, do I listen to my body when I feel tired? Do I honor what I need? Do I create the space I need for myself, even when everything else feels important or urgent? Because every time you override your own needs, your body learns, hey, I'm not the priority here. And eventually, you stop checking in on it altogether. And guess what? It stops sending you the signals. And this is where the shift actually begins for us. It's not in the doing more. And I'm not going to tell you that you need to fix yourself. Because you're not broken, you don't need to be fixed. However, the shift is in the slowing down. Just enough to notice where you've been disconnected. To feel what you've been pushing past. to start responding to your own self and your own signals instead of just everyone else's. Because when you begin to reconnect to your body, when you start honoring what you feel, even in the smallest ways, you're rebuilding something much deeper than just motivation. You begin to rebuild your relationship with yourself. So let's make this practical. This week, I'm not asking you to completely overhaul your life, but I do want to do something simpler, and it might be more uncomfortable for you. Because I want you to ask yourself, what is it that I need right now? And instead of dismissing it, minimizing it, or saying later, I'm going to ask you to honor it. Even if it's just something small. And that can look like taking a break without feeling guilt. Even if that's just like a 5-minute transition breath. That might look like asking for help instead of doing it all. Because guess what? Our loved ones actually want to be able to help us if we ask. If we allow ourselves to lean on them. Saying no when you normally would have said yes. Or simply just allowing yourself to sit with yourself for a moment. Because we don't build self-trust in these big moments. It's how we show up in our day-to-day that builds that self-trust. And over time, this is a shift. You won't feel depleted. You won't feel as resentful because you're giving yourself the chance to be helped. You don't feel like you're constantly running on empty because you're no longer abandoning yourself in the process to keep everyone else going. So the version of you, the woman you're becoming, she still shows up, she still leads, she still holds her capacity, she's still expanding, but she's not doing it at the cost of herself. So if you've been feeling tired, if you've been feeling stretched thin, if you've been feeling like you've been carrying everything, this is your reminder. You're not meant to do this alone. And you're not meant to just disappear in the process of holding everything together. So I'm going to ask if you will take one more breath with me. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. And release for 6. You don't rebuild self-trust by thinking differently. You rebuild it by finally including yourself in your own life. So if this episode resonated, I would love it if you share it with a woman who might need the reminder. And if you liked it, please leave a review down below and let me know your thoughts. Connect with me. And until then, I'll see you in the next episode.